Tom Selleck, at the age of 79, chose to address the age-old issue that had been plaguing the public for years. How did he transform into the guy whose well-groomed eyes could strike fear into anyone's heart or bring a smile to their face? We are releasing the first chapter of this. Tom Selleck was born on January 29, 1945, in Detroit, Michigan. He is a famous actor and singer. His father, Robert, was an executive and real estate investor, while his mother, Martha, stayed at home to raise him. Thomas, Tom's older brother, was one of several children living in the Selleck household. The family includes Robert, Martha, and Daniel, who are all younger siblings. Through his father, Tom is able to trace his family history all the way back to the original English immigrants. His ancestor David emigrated from England in 1633 and settled in Massachusetts in 1948, making him an 11th generation North American. The Toms uprooted their lives and headed west to Sherman Oaks, California when Tom was just 3 years old. An entirely new age had begun. Even though Tom didn't come from a Hollywood family, he did have some lucky breaks. He was a 1962 graduate of Grant High School. Like many young adults still searching for their calling, he stayed at home to save money while attending Los Angeles Valley College after graduating from high school. Tom, standing at 64 feet, was nearly invisible. A lot of avenues opened for him because of his innate athleticism. When he transferred to USC in his junior year, things started to fall into place. He became a member of the men's basketball squad for the USC Trojans. Tom stood out from the rest of his basketball team players thanks to his towering stature, though he did play other sports besides basketball. On the baseball team at USC, he served as both a pitcher and a designated hitter. He joined the esteemed Trojan Knights and was an active brother in the Sigma Chi fraternity, two of the most prominent Greek organizations on campus. Tom followed his heart and pursued a career in business administration, the field he had always imagined for himself. Tom had intended to study, but destiny intervened. Tom was encouraged to give acting a go by a USC drama coach who noticed an unexpected talent in him. Tom, captivated by the camera-ready features and charismatic demeanor, decided to discontinue his education during his last year of high school. Once I finished my degree at USC, I dove headfirst into the acting world. Hollywood wasn't prepared for Tom's sudden rise to fame, so he honed his acting chops at the Beverly Hills Playhouse, where he studied with the late, great Milton Catullus Selleck. Offers for his early jobs began rolling in shortly after. Participating in 2 seasons of the dating game 1965 and 1967 was his break. There may not have won an Oscar, but there was definitely progress. He then appeared in ads for less well-known products like Revlon's Chaz Cologne, Salem Cigarettes, and Pepsi Cola Right Guard deodorant. Selleck required more than just a handsome face to achieve stardom. Roles were next. In his early films, such as Coma and Myra Breen Ridge, he had little roles that weren't revolutionary, but they were progress. During this period, Tom landed a consistent role in Of the Rockford Files TV series, Thomas was the endearing private investigator Lance White. His audience adored him. Things took a turn for the worse for Tom when he donned his cowboy boots to play Sam Elliott in the western The Sackets, alongside Affleck and Ford. Johnson discovered Selleck's acting potential and introduced him to Hollywood. Like Tom, it was unforgiving and uncompromising. His rising stardom in westerns was cemented that year with his co-starring role in Concrete Cowboys alongside Jerry Reed. Tom, however, was not going to be contained. He still had much more in store for us. In 1984's Lasser, set in 1930s London, he donned a tuxedo and portrayed the role of a cat thief. This was the beginning of a new chapter in his career, and we must not overlook Quiggle Down Under, his most renowned Western performance. It is hardly surprising that he received a Western Heritage Award for his performance in Last Stand at Sabre River, given that with each film he appeared in, he was not merely performing a role, but rather creating a legacy. Cast as the legendary Thomas Magnum in the 1980s crime drama Magnum Pi. At the time, Selleck had already gone through 6 unsuccessful TV pilots, but Magnum was the one that changed everything. Magnum was a carefree private investigator played by Selleck. He was known for his signature mustache, Ferrari, and Hawaiian shirt. He had the opportunity to portray one of the most iconic movie characters of all time, Indiana Jones, in Raiders of the Lost Ark. At the same time, he was cast as Magnum. I think of Tom Selleck as the Indiana Jones character avoiding boulders while striking the whip. The problem was that Magnum PI's producers wouldn't release him from his contract, so Selleck turned down the role. In spite of the writer's strike, Harrison Ford ended up with the role, and the rest is history. Despite the 6-month delay in filming Magnum, which allowed Selleck to reprise his role in Raiders, Tom never regretted his decision. According to Selleck, I made a deal with Magnum and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. This arrangement was so beneficial that his friends advised him to pretend to be hurt in order to avoid staying in his contract. Though Tom remained faithful. I got to look my mom and dad in the eye, he told them, and we don't do that, so he stayed with Magnum. And that decision would ultimately shape his career. From 1980 to 1988, Magnum PI aired 8 seasons totaling 163 episodes. The role he played, a former Navy SEAL turned private detective residing on the opulent Hawaiian house of an enigmatic author, won him an Emmy. The 1984 Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series award went to Selleck. The combination of Selleck's action and comedic timing, as well as his famous mustache and reliable Ferrari 308 GTS, made him an iconic figure. Magnum was among the most watched television series of all time until it concluded in 1988. By 1998, Selleck had become a household name, and he continued to rule syndicated reruns. However, he dabbled in filmmaking throughout his Magnum years, demonstrating his versatility. He became the highest-grossing picture of all time in 1987 with his role in the record-breaking comedy 3 Men and a Baby. His performance in that year's American film, in which he co-starred with his 2 roommates as a man who becomes an unexpected parent, was a testament to Selleck's versatility. His film roles include an innocent man in Her Alibi and a police detective with a fear of heights in Runaway. Despite receiving an offer to star in Baywatch, Selleck was selective about the parts he took on, bringing his charisma to both romantic comedies and crime thrillers. It was offered to Mitch Banan, but he declined out of shame at being reduced to nothing more than a sexual object in swimwear. Playing characters such as American sharpshooter Quigley and Quigley Down Under gave him the seriousness he was seeking. Selleck has frequently gushed over this part, claiming it to be among his favorites. A surprising guest appearance on Friends in the 1990s as Dr. Richard Burke, Monica Geller's older and sexier boyfriend, won Selleck a legion of new followers. Their chemistry captivated audiences, and Selleck solidified his position on the program, despite the fact that his character was somewhat older than Monica. Although his career advisors were skeptical at first, Selleck ultimately had no remorse for taking part in the project, even though it was merely a 6-episode arc on a television comedy. Despite his frequent TV show changes, his performance on Friends became another notable chapter in his career, and he was nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series. Selleck was an excellent pick for more roles due to his soothing demeanor and rich voice. The You Will model from Audi had him as its voice actor in the early 90s. His TLC show, The Practical Guide to the Universe, aired in the mid-1990s, and he discussed astronomy topics such as stars, galaxies, and cosmic riddles. Playing the role of Jack McLaren, a well-known publicist who operated his own agency, was Selleck's triumphant return to primetime television in the late 1990s. The show's low ratings led to its cancellation after just 10 episodes, despite its stellar cast. After that, in the early 2000s, Selleck returned to his cowboy origins with Monty and Crossfire Trail. He was able to indulge his passion for westerns with Walsh and 1,000 Clowns. The 2001 production even took him to Broadway, where he had a leading role. Although critics compared his portrayal to Jason Robards, Selleck truly brought his A-game to the part. The show made 2 stops in Boston and Chicago during its 4-month run before ending due to the 9/11's attacks. He portrayed General in 2004, Ike Countdown to D-Day, a television movie starring Dwight D. Eisenhower. Critics lauded him for his composed performance as the renowned military commander in the film, which centered on the political maneuverings and preparations leading up to the D-Day invasion. In addition, Selleck has been in a number of Jesse Stone TV movies since 2005, which are adaptations of novels written by Robert B. Parker. Both the books and the shows were produced by Selleck, who portrayed the character of disturbed police officer Jesse Stone. The role of New York City Police Commissioner Frank Reagan was Selleck's most recent addition to the Blue Bloods ensemble in 2010. Family is the main theme of the show. Became a smashing success, solidifying Selleck's status as a television icon for an entire new generation. After decades of speculation, Tom Selleck, at the age of 79, confirms what fans have suspected all along: he is married to the woman who had the iconic mustache. The genuine Selleck isn't flaunting his cowboy hat or driving about in a Ferrari. He and his wife Jilly Mack have created a calm and steady life on their tranquil ranch, far from the prying eyes of the cameras. Nobody else notices this side of Selleck. This is a tale that few people know, but Tom is prepared to fill everyone in on it today. It feels like a movie is playing out in Tom and Jilly's story. In 1983, while filming Lasser in London, it all began for Selleck. The musical Cats captivated him. In fact, he attended multiple performances, much to the bewilderment of his co-star Jane Seymour. In addition to being a devoted fan of the show, Tom had a secret crush on Jilly Mack, who portrayed the role of the mischievous Rumple Teaser. Their romance took off after only one supper together because of how well they hit it off. Jill migrated to the United States to be with Tom once her contract with Cats ended. A 1987 covert wedding ensued from their brief affair. Not even their closest friends were privy to the details. In an effort to evade the press, the couple wedded a modest chapel close to Lake Tahoe using false names. Tom Jenkins and Susie Mark were the formal names, but the minister was in the dark about them until they arrived, and just a small number of relatives showed up. However, this marked a turning point in Tom's Hollywood story, rather than merely another chapter. He made the unexpected decision to stop performing when his fame from Magnum Pie was at its peak, so that he could devote more time to his family. "My relationships on my ranch keep me sane," remarked the man. Away from the limelight and tabloids, he claimed the couple relocated to a 65-acre ranch in Ventura, California. Tom wanted to raise his family in peace and quiet, far from the hectic pace of Hollywood, so he made this decision. December 1988 saw the birth of their daughter, Hannah Margaret Selleck. While spending her childhood on the ranch in the country, Hannah developed an early and abiding affection for horses. Growing up, Hannah was no ordinary girl. It was exactly where Tom and Jilly had envisioned her flourishing, and they were completely correct. Descanso Farm is Hannah's venture into the world of professional horse riding, where she trains and develops trotting horses. Hannah has competed in events all around the globe. Tom counts it among life's greatest pleasures to watch his daughter achieve amazing things on her own. Prioritizing one's family is evident. Hannah exemplifies the first ever experience in the Selleck household. It was already obvious how much Tom loved his family, but when? At the age of 2, Hannah experienced a terrifying medical emergency. She had viral pneumonia and was hospitalized. Tom left everything to be at her side. His daughter's health took precedence, therefore he postponed filming Christopher Columbus: The Discovery, which was supposed to star Marlon Brando at that time, while filming and ultimately contemplating the impact of his work on his own life. Tom reflected on that period and said, "I quit Magnum to have a family, and now I was jumping at every movie that came along." This decision allowed Tom to prioritize his family above his career. His marriage to Jill and his daughter both benefited from his lessons on the value of family over fame. Tom and Jill's marriage has endured despite the public scrutiny that often surrounds high-profile divorces. In response to a question about the strength of their marriage, Tom stated, "It's not fame." Teresa states, "I believe it's crucial to cultivate your marriage. My top priority is dedicating time to my family. Their romance has been the stuff of gossip for quite some time, particularly during the late 1980s, when the renowned Italian actress Sophia Loren resided nearby." Tom dealt with the reports of a probable affair in a fun manner. He played the cardinal rule by saying that Jilly had only given him the green light to cheat on her under one condition: if on his way to Home Depot, Sophia, who was wearing her bathrobe, invited him over for a cappuccino. Tom joked that he could go, but in reality she sold the house and nothing ever came of it. Tom and Jill's romance has persisted through all the speculation. Tom has always felt at home on the ranch, and he has many happy recollections of tending to the grounds, and at one point even running an avocado orchard. The work keeps him grounded, even though he dislikes avocados. Riding his ATV around the property to tend to the horses and do the heavy lifting is his idea of a perfect ranch life. This is his dream life, even though it doesn't match the glitzy Hollywood image that most people have of him. A cigar with a drink of whiskey, in his words, is a pleasant way to. Tom is still very active as an actor. He stars in Blue Bloods as Frank Reagan, a role he has played for many years, and the ranch is a safe haven where he and Jill have raised Hannah with strong values away from the pressures of fame. Having enjoyed a very good life full of happy things since 2010, Tom is now looking forward to spending even more time at home with his family now that the show's 14th season is done. Thanks to his strong bond with his daughter Jill and the ranch they now call home, Tom Selleck is able to remain grounded in a profession notorious for scandals and mayhem. Looking back on his life, he expresses appreciation and says that leaving Hollywood at that time was the right decision. He made the right decision by settling down with his family and striking a work-life balance. After all, he has been a heartthrob, a cowboy, a private investigator, and a police commissioner, but his proudest roles are undoubtedly those of husband and father. His fans may recognize him as the mustachioed hero of their favorite shows, but at home he is simply a dad. With his newfound stability, Tom can finally answer the question that fans have been asking for years: what's the real secret to his long-lasting career and personal life? The answer is simple: his unwavering commitment to the people he loves and the quiet life he's chosen to live with them. That's Tom Selleck's real story, and it's the one we've all been waiting to hear. Tom is dedicated, humble, and forever grateful for the life he's built.